The African Union was formed 20 years ago in Durban in South Africa. And so this is a very special year for the African Union because continentally we are celebrating that 20 years of the existence of the African Union. Now, since that great formation, the Union has played a very important role in the realization of the continental vision of an integrated, prosperous and peaceful continent that is driven by its people and also that is representative of a dynamic force of Africa in the global arena. The Union developed the Continental Development Framework that we know as Agenda 2063. And Agenda 2063 was divided into 5 10-year implementation plans. And we are just at the conclusion of the first of those 10-year implementation plans. And so it is a very good occasion for us to have feedback on what has been achieved in that first 10 years of implementing Agenda 2063. And so to help us understand the key achievements and perhaps some of the challenges that have been faced in the implementation of that first 10 years of Agenda 2063, we are privileged to have with us here today the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Her Excellency Dr. Monique Nsanzabaganwa. Excellency, good morning and welcome to this interview.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
In terms of the vision of achieving a prosperous Africa, a developed Africa, an integrated Africa, and a united Africa, what progress would you say has been achieved in implementing Agenda 2063?
A lot has been achieved, but let me start by commending this vision that our leaders gave us almost 10 years ago. And also commend my sister, the first ever woman chairperson of the African Union Commission, Dr. Dlamini Zuma, because this is indeed one of her legacies at the Commission. A lot has been achieved, as I said. This vision has made us, as all member states and the citizens of the continent, focus on what is priority for us in infrastructure, in education, in health, in peace and security, in economic transformation, and many other sectors. We have seen progress, especially if I can, for instance, mention achievements in the road network on the continent. If I can name electrification, access to ICT, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We have seen also tremendous efforts to achieve gender equality and representation of women in different respective member states of the Union. And I would say one of the biggest achievements, which is intangible, is how Africa has come out to be a respected voice on the international arena. I think this is maybe not well appreciated by ourselves, but others are seeing what powerful the Union is, and they are looking up to working with it to achieve several objectives. So this is really the opportunity for us to really be proud of ourselves. However, a lot is still to be done as well. We have done evaluation. The last 2 years report. And as we speak, we are doing an evaluation over the 10 years. And the preliminary results are telling us that we still have gaps. First of all, we still have to make this union more people, African citizens owned. And we still have to make a lot of progress in poverty reduction and in the reduction of inequalities, especially that after COVID, we have almost, I would say, taken a few steps back because of those challenges. We still need to put a lot of emphasis on catch up on education, especially girls' education in different parts of our continent. We are yet to optimize on the opportunities of the free trade area by having integrated infrastructure of all modes. These are very heavy investment projects that we are mobilizing resources for, and we are yet to see them achieved. We have made progress on governance on the continent, which is also mixed with cases here and there of anti-constitutional change of government. We are having issues of peace and security, and we are still dependent, the resilience of our continent has been put to test with the challenges that we are traversing. But all these, as much as there are challenges, but also there are opportunities, especially for investment and trade and partnerships.
The African Union is undertaking a major reform exercise. What is the project timeline of that exercise? Where are we now, and what still remains to be done?
Reforming the union is one of the fruits of this vision to become really an organization, a continental organization that is working for its people. We are looking at making not only the organizations like the commission and the organs, but also the function of the union, the intergovernmental process, our assembly of heads of state, our policy making organs, how they function, what do they discuss, how are they focused. And this African Union, which is celebrating 20 years, is I would say a project of the continent to not only succeed its peace, its good governance, its political liberation, but also its economic structural transformation. And we need to build on our human capital. So the reform is looking at all those aspects, institutional-wise, but also it's looking at restructuring to make the organization more leaner, efficient, and effective. It's a project that is to be implemented over a period of 3 years. We are in the phase 1 of implementing the restructuring of the commission. This phase 1 is ending in December this year. And we are going to have a phase 2 and phase 3. In the process, we are also restructuring other organs, not just the headquarters. And we are looking at also the division of labor between the different institutions of the African Union and the regional regional economic communities, the RECs, and the member states, so that we can really have a streamlined system. Because as we say, this union is people's union. It's not just a government project. It has to really be cascading from continent to national level. So we are doing all that exercise. We are also looking at how can we be financially autonomous, which is making a lot of progress. Like as we speak, member states can finance 100% of the operations of the union. We are at in the region of 25% for the programs of the union, and they have also put up a peace fund, which is going to be meeting the needs in peace and security. And as we speak, they have contributed 279 million US dollars against a seed capital of 400 millions. And we are looking at completing this target by next year, hopefully. So we are making progress, and we are also looking at how we can really become an influential organization on the international arena. And this is looking at the partnerships and how we partner with whom and for what. These are also being studied. So we are, as we speak, finalizing our strategy and partnerships, which is going also to be guiding us going forward. So it's, I would say, a holistic reform, and it's making a lot of progress. In the next upcoming summit in February 2023, as you'll be celebrating the 10 years of the Agenda 2063, and looking forward to the next 10 years, we'll also be reporting on progress made on all of those plans.
We have spoken about the reforms of the African Union. So at the end of these reforms, what kind of African Union should the African people look forward to?
They should expect an organization that is working for them. Their organization, which they are part of. And actually, our vision is a prosperous, a peaceful, and integrated Africa driven by its citizens. So we are looking at really enhancing that link, and having a system that is working for all of us. We are looking at a more transparent and accountable organization, which is self-sufficient in terms of its basic needs and programs. We are harnessing our internal capabilities and capabilities of the people, our private sector, our civil society on the continent. How can we be supporting this organization even more? So we are putting in place, for instance, instruments for that to happen. Peace Fund being one, which is, as I said, having a 400 million US dollar seed capital from member states, but we are looking at mobilizing from our private sector, or our financial institutions, from our foundations, because the agenda of the Union and the work that the African Union does is actually creating an environment where our private sector is going to be flourished. It's creating situations of peace and security on the continent. And these are the public goods that everyone should be investing in. So that's sort of an organization we are looking at. We are looking at gender parity, 50% representation across the organizations of the Union and the member states. We are looking at the representation at least of 35% for our youth. This is a Union commitment. We are looking at digital transformation across the operations of the Union and also the member states. So we are really having in mind that kind of world-class organization, which is not just in the form of an institution like structures, but also the kind of agenda we are driving, how we are focused, and how we are influential, how we are speaking with one voice on different areas that are challenging us, and not just us as Africa, but also global issues. So that's, I would say, what they should expect. Indeed, in a nutshell, an organization that is really closer to them and that is responsive to the needs of the citizens.
What is in store in terms of the implementation of the second 10-year implementation plan of Agenda 2063?
Actually, I would say that we are still consulting. As we speak, There are national consultations going on in all the member states. We are also looking forward on what we have achieved, all the departments, but also the building blocks of the Union, including the REX, including our Pan-African institutions like the ADB and others. So we are taking stock of what has been achieved, and we are also hearing from our leaders what are their preliminary indications of what we want. Like for instance in Lusaka, we had an opportunity to present to the coordination meeting whereby heads of state were presented to ask them what would you be your preliminary indications. So we are looking at deepening more the strategic foresight and the scenario planning for our continent. We are learning from the challenges such as the COVID, such as the geopolitical challenges, climate change and others, and looking into how can we have a plan that is responding to building more resilience on the continent. We are looking at how can we revamp our education and health on the continent. We recognize that we have a lot of challenges that we have to focus on. Infrastructure, how can we mobilize resources better? How can we coordinate better through that division of labor? And what is to be achieved by the African Union, institutions? What about the REX? Which are the building blocks? What is the role of the national countries and how we can integrate? Issues of data. We have realized that we have to step up on the quality of our statistics and how we manage data and knowledge together so that our achievements are more visible, but also evidence is always good for policy making. We are looking at those things like how can we really achieve economic transformation that is meaningful, because those are some of the areas that are lagging behind as per the preliminary results of the evaluation. So that's going to be a focus going forward, but we leave it to the consultations. Let's see what the African citizens have in mind and they want their organizations to do and become. We'll focus on that.
The African Union has remained committed to Agenda 2063, and this is in spite of the different changes that have taken place in the leadership of the various organs of the Union. So what does this consistency say about the significance of Agenda 2063 and its capacity to deliver to the African people the Africa that we want?
Having a vision is a strong piece of governance. This is true of an individual, true of a family, true of a company, and true of an organization like ours. This is a vision over 50 years. Of course, it's not cast in stone. It has to be adapting to new challenges and new opportunities, but at least have that vision. Start with the end in mind. It's very, very important. And it's making the institution work together, irrespective of who is the office holder at a particular time. Because if it's something that we have all co-created into, then it's going to be driving us and also being a yardstick against which we are measuring our achievements and we are being accountable. So it's very important to have it so that we can focus and prioritize our resources and also give hope that actually this is where we are heading and what we are aspiring to. It's always good to really have that long vision for the organization, because we come and go. This is also a political organization which is upholding principles of governance. Leaders have a term of office, but that shouldn't be a hindrance. So that's the beauty of having a vision for a focused and also, I would say, comprehensive implementation in the sense of direction.
Now, finally, we know that this is the 20th year of the African Union, having come out of the Organization of African Unity. What is your message to the African people in these 20 years of the African Union?
I see the 20 years as an important milestone, whereby we have come to realize the effectiveness of this organization. This African Union is affording the Africans, all member states, an opportunity to have a louder voice. And this is recognized. So we should own it more as member states. We should support it more as an institution which is carrying our voice. I see that this is an organization for the citizens. You should know, wherever you are, you young, old, woman, man on this continent, that actually our future is in keeping strong together. Our future is in working together, because taken individually, we are a small market, we are a small voice, we can be shaken, we can be manipulated. But when we come together, we are strong, we are respected, and we can harness our opportunities even more. We are integrated as Africa. Our markets are being integrated. We are integrating our spaces, being sky, being the network of our infrastructure. We are looking at really reaching the free movement of people, so that we can really take opportunities that are in different parts of this continent, and we can create jobs, and we can be a market to one another, as we also build into a strong trading bloc that is going to be negotiating and getting its way without being shortchanged. So I really look at the 20 years as an opportunity to have demonstrated, although in very critical areas and maybe not yet in the others, but at least we know for sure that this project works, and that we are going to be needing it more going forward, because the world is becoming a little bit rough. The world is becoming a little bit selfish. And if we are to survive in this world, we need really to work through this union, support it institutionally and individually, and own it more.
Excellency, we thank you very much, and thank you for taking that time to have this interview with us. So thank you for having stayed with us for that very interesting interview with the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Her Excellency Dr. Monique Nsanzabaganwa, going into some details about Agenda 2063, what has been achieved, some of the issues that still need to be achieved, and also looking at the way forward as we seek to achieve the Africa that we want.